Well, good morning, Cam.
Hello. How are you, sir?
I have been better, but we're going to soldier through. We were just talking about the smoke that has been going through Wisconsin and Illinois, and I'm guessing Michigan's probably got some of it, but it's all from wildfires up in Canada. And it has been a rough week, to say the least, allergy-wise. And as someone with allergies and asthma, I had to go back to wearing a mask outdoors just to not feel like garbage. But this morning, the headache's catching up with me. And so I'm going to be here. I'm going to muster some energy. We're going to get excited and talk about some macOS Sonoma today. And we're going to forget about the fact that my head feels like it's in a vice. So
good luck with that.
All right. How you doing today?
A lot better, apparently.
The
smoke was not as bad for as long down here in, good old Illinois down here in the South.
Yep.
But no, I'm good. I'm just chilling. Happy to be here for yet another lovely episode of our show.
And I noticed that it almost kind of looks like you're podcasting in the dark today.
I mean,
there's no
my
lights
window.
on
I have a window here and a window here. There's a little.
You're well lit. Your background is a little bit dark.
There's a little pink light right there, Mitch.
I see that. I was wondering if that was pink or purple. Maybe magenta.
Technically, it's pink. Let's see. Now it's green. Now it's purple. Now it's blue.
Very cool.
Now it's back to pink. There we go.
Oof, Mr. Fancy.
Some great visual cues for our audio medium. You're welcome, folks.
Yep. You are welcome. I don't know if I should be ashamed of this, but I was checking how much Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom I've played so far since I've got the game. How long ago did I get that? What, month and a half ago? Something like that. But yeah, I put 95 hours into it already.
That is a long time.
Yeah, before you got on the call with me here, I was actually working on taming a wild horse. And I boarded it and got a saddle and bridle for it, and yeah.
Did you give it a name?
Yes, Mordecai. It's a nice large black horse with white feet and hooves. I thought it was a pretty horse, and I thought, you know what? I want that horse. I'm going to go tame that horse, and I did. I actually got to figure out how to get rid of some of my horses, because I think that makes like 6 or 7 horses that I have tamed right now. So,
why do you need to get rid of them?
There's a few that I just, don't need anymore. If there was a way to sell them or to maybe
send them to the Kentucky Derby, they'll probably die.
Maybe free them. I would be totally fine with that. But there's one that I've been riding a lot lately that I've tamed, named Azrael. All black horse. And that's one of my favorites, but this one that I just tamed, I think I could be pretty happy with. So one of the things about Tears of the Kingdom is that the only thing that really transferred over from Breath of the Wild was the horses you tamed. So most of these are from Breath of the Wild that I brought over to the new game. But I have Great Bob, who's the like a giant horse in Breath of the Wild. I still have him. And
Bob.
And then I tamed a giant horse earlier on Tears of the Kingdom that's gold. And I named it Goldie because I'm not very creative. So
you and my 6-year-old will come up with that one.
Anyway, we're going to talk about macOS Sonoma today. So are you ready to head in?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's talk about it. All right, so in our series of kind of going through the operating systems and updates to that we talked about from WWDC, we thought we'd do macOS Sonoma today. And just as a precursor, why are we not talking about iOS and iPadOS today? We're waiting on the betas, the public betas. I know we could get in on the developer betas right now, but I'm not sure. I'm what is it, brave enough to jump into the developer betas? So,
Plus, you got
but
to pay for them, man.
no, not anymore.
What?
Nope,
You don't have to have a developer license anymore?
you don't. Well, you have to have a developer account, but you don't have to have a paid account.
Really?
Yep. So, and have you seen how they're doing it now? You used to have to
No.
download a profile. You don't have to do that anymore. You just go into settings. Let me make sure that I've got this right. You go into settings, and I think it's under the software update under general. That where you have the ability to do automatic updates or turn your automatic updates on and off. There's an option for beta updates. And as you can see, I have mine turned off right now, but if I flip over, it actually shows the iOS 16 public and developer betas and the iOS 17 developer beta right now.
Interesting.
So you just go in there and click turn it on, and suddenly you're on a different upgrade track. So
I know they changed that.
Yeah, it made it way easier. So now you don't have to go to the website and download a profile, and then later on you got to figure out how you're going to delete the profile to go back to the regular updates. And yeah, so now you can just turn it on, and then when you're done with it, you just turn it off. So pretty slick.
Nice.
But macOS Sonoma. So first off, I'm going to tell you before even looking, what's your favorite feature of macOS Sonoma?
Ooh,
Don't look.
I don't remember, Mitch.
Exactly.
It's been 2 weeks.
That's what I'm trying to get at. So it's like there's nothing that really blew my socks off here. There's some things that I'm excited about now after I kind of scan through the page, but it's nothing super exciting.
I know I made this comment in the show where we recapped WWDC, and I thought it was funny because they're like, ooh, the all-new macOS Sonoma. Very, very powerful. First feature, new screensavers. And if you go to the macOS Sonoma preview page on apple.com, guess what the first thing they tell you is the screensavers.
Stunning new screensavers.
Don't understand why this is what they're choosing to lead with. It doesn't make sense to me. Because the next thing is widgets on desktop. I don't understand the order.
So first off, let's talk about the screensavers real quick. The screensaver thing, they basically brought the screensavers or something similar to them, at least from tvOS to macOS. So now instead of using Arial to get your screensavers, you can now use this. Now the difference being, they added an extra feature into this now, so that if you have a screensaver selected and say you go back to your desktop can actually just become whatever the image is. So your desktop and your screensaver can kind of work together. So I don't know if I'll do this, but it's kind of a cool feature. I'll probably try it for a little bit and see how I like it, but I doubt that I'm going to stick with it. And if that didn't make any sense to you, I apologize. But it's not the easiest thing to explain.
It's all good. Yeah, it says when you log in, they seamlessly become your desktop wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know why I led with it, because the next up is widgets on desktop, which I should have remembered.
Which there's two things about this that are cool. Number one, you can actually have widgets on the desktop instead of having them in their little prison off to the side of the screen. And then they dim if you're not on your desktop. They dim and they stay behind your whatever window you have open, but they kind of fade back into the background. And I think that's kind of cool.
And the other thing that's cool about them is that you can put your iPhone widgets on your Mac
I was going
desktop,
to say that next. Yes.
which is pretty cool.
And hopefully some of the hopefully that'll work well, and that won't prohibit some of your iOS developers or iPadOS developers from bringing some of that stuff natively over to macOS instead of saying, "Oh no, you can have them on your computer as long as you just use the iPhone version of it." I'd like to see them native on macOS because again, I don't know how stable that's going to be for using stuff off of your other devices, but we will find out.
Indeed, we shall. This will be interesting
Mm-hmm.
because, like, immediately, I'm like, Garrett Weather is going on my Mac desktop.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? From my phone, like
Mm-hmm.
that's a done deal. So yeah, that's very nice. I don't have a Tesla, so I can't put my Tesla widget on my MacBook Pro to see the charge and status of my car. Unlike Craig Federighi, I don't make Tesla kind of money.
Right. So the video conferencing stuff is interesting. The fact that it's built essentially right into the camera system, I think that that you can put, share your desktop behind you. You can just be a little bubble on top of it. You can actually have it like a newscast style overlay behind you. But the camera basically figures out where you are, where your background is, and puts that in between.
Yep.
So
it's that true depth, the Face ID, the true depth sensor stuff. Yeah.
I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah, and as I said in the WWDC recap episode, I can't wait to mess with my coworkers with this because I'm one of the few people that I work with that actually has a Mac or work. Pretty much all my coworkers have PCs, so this will be fun to mess with them in like not important meetings, but just like, oh, let me share my screen and just have it behind my head so they can't actually see it.
So this I believe is going to be one of the features that's only available for Apple Silicon Macs,
which I have, so we're good there.
And I have it on my laptop, so hopefully, let's see. There is a footnote.
Uh-oh. Footnotes.
Yes, footnote for that one that says available on Mac computers with Apple Silicon. So that is a limitation. So if you're rocking an old Intel Mac, you will not be able to use that. Gotta have a reason to upgrade.
This whole react with your hands business seems silly.
Oh yeah. I will tell you, I will make use of this for sure. Exactly. With your dark background, those fireworks would look really good.
Yes, the colors would pop quite nicely.
Mm-hmm. There's new screen sharing picker. Looks like you can share pictures through the green button up in the upper left-hand corner there. I don't know what they call that, but that'd be fun. I might have to get like some legit camera mounts for continuity camera though to make this work.
Yeah, I don't have a continuity camera mount yet for my iPhone because I haven't had the need.
Do you remember what I have?
You built like a Lego one.
Yeah, I built one out of Lego.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Hey, it works.
Yeah, and I just like because we'll get to the FaceTime on the Apple TV at some point, you know. Like I don't know if that's worth buying a whole like a mount for my phone.
So let's have a side here about that. So they have a mount that you can. I think it's the same mount or a very similar mount to the one that they use for like your regular iMacs. It's not the little like disc clippy mount that they made, but there's another mount that's a MagSafe mount that for like if I wanted to put one on my 27-inch 5K iMac, that would be the one that I would have to buy for this because it has like adjustable legs on the back of it that may sit it upright, and then you can just slap your camera up there. It's very similar to that, if not the same one. But there's also a feature coming in iOS 17 that is going to allow you to use motorized docks. So if you have a motorized dock that would do like face tracking, it will work with that as well. So, which is pretty crazy. But can you imagine having a conversation on tvOS and your phone is literally moving with you instead of just tracking you through the wide camera? It might be fun. I don't think I'm going to pay for that feature.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. There's some Safari stuff in there. There's
always some Safari stuff.
I don't know if there's anything crazy.
There's just the new profiles.
Yeah, the profiles. That'll be fun, I think, once we get a hold of those, to be able to be logged into multiple accounts and different profiles.
Chrome has had those for years.
Yeah.
And I just I have a different work machine than I have a personal machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my personal machine's a M1 MacBook Air. My work machine is an M1 MacBook Pro. I don't do personal stuff on my work machine. I don't do work stuff on my personal machine. So the whole idea of this profile stuff, there's no use case for me there.
Well, case in point for me, or at least what would work well for me is when I go to church, I'm logged into the church's YouTube account. If I'm at home, I might want to be on my own account on YouTube. Not that I switch between those all that often, but normally if I have to go in and I have to manually switch myself from one account to the other. Where, if I take my MacBook to the church to work on stuff for Sunday morning or something like that, and I'm setting up the live stream or something like that, I can just change the profile and it'll switch over to the church's account. And then when I'm done with that, I get home and I want to, watch a video or, just whatever, I can switch over to my personal account just by switching profiles. So,
that's exactly, the use case, right? Is that sort of thing. So I'm happy for you. I just personally don't, at this point, have a scenario in my life where that is beneficial. But obviously, most people do. So.
The next thing on the list here is you can make any website like an app.
Oh my gosh! Tell me more.
Yeah, this is something.
Tell me more.
This is something we've had before. It's just now built into Safari. So we've had it on iPad. We've had it on iOS. I've used an app called Unity or Unite.
Oh gosh,
to make that to do this.
Yeah.
So so it's not a new feature, per se, but it's something new to Safari on the Mac that you can basically throw a icon into the dock, and apparently can only live in the dock, which I think is a strange limitation. But because I would love to have, if I was going to do this, I would love to have a folder in Launchpad to be able to launch these. Yes, I use Launchpad. You can make fun of me if you want, but it works well for me.
But if it lives on the dock, wouldn't it also be in Launchpad? Because Launchpad is every app.
Possibly, but we'll have to wait and see, because they made a point to say specifically that it's in the dock.
Yeah.
So
I don't really know if there's any websites that I want living in my dock.
I mean, what I've done in the past,
other than innerdialogue.show, of course.
Well, of course. But what I've done in the past is like when I started playing Tears of the Kingdom, I went to IGN, found their like homepage for all their wiki, and made that an app so that I could go there quickly, just tap on it and go right to it, and to be able to look stuff up and keep track, because I mean they're building it out as they're playing the game too. So just looking for updates, looking to see what new stuff that they're posting and stuff like that, because they do such a good job on IGN. There hasn't been a whole lot that I've had to go elsewhere for. So, but passwords and passkeys are finally coming. I think that they're going to be supported in iOS 17 or possibly a next version of 16. I don't recall, but that's something that hasn't been a huge deal until just recently, because that's something they announced a year ago.
Yeah, passkeys.
But they also are offering passkey sharing with iOS 17.
Yeah, interesting. And enhanced private browsing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of skipped past that. I don't know what I would use that for.
For internet anonymity.
Sure.
Private browsing and a VPN, Mitch.
Right on. There was some messages updates that I found interesting. The Ketchup feature looks nice, because if you're in a group chat, if you've ever been in a group chat and a bunch of people are talking and you don't know where to start reading, this makes it really a lot easier, so you can just catch up. I don't know if there's a button you hit or what, but it'll
It
take
says
you.
a new Ketchup Arrow.
Oh yeah, I see that. So it'll
And
go
the way I
back
just
to
said that
the
made it sound like an arrow made out of ketchup. And
yeah.
now I'm more intrigued by that. That sounds more fun.
Ketchup made an arrow made of ketchup.
There you go.
I think I've got our cover art for this
Yep.
episode.
There we go. You're not welcome. I'm sorry. I regret that statement.
But at any rate, this will give you the ability to go back to the beginning of the part of the conversation that you have not read yet. So I think that's a cool feature.
Indeed.
They don't have where's the name of the feature? There's the share location, request a friend's location from the plus button, then someone who shares location. I'm trying to figure out, because there was a feature where you could these were all messages features. Maybe this is new to macOS, the ability to share your location from messages. Must be. How about live stickers?
Yeah. See, now we're getting to the real features.
Oh, now we're getting to the fun stuff.
Yeah. I said it on the WWC episode, and I'm repeating myself, and I'm fine with that. I just like it when they do stuff like this that serves no other purpose than it's just fun. Like, this is not a productivity hack or leadership, whatever. Like, it's goofy stickers and the ability to pull stickers from like live images and that sort of stuff. Like, and the fact that even like Craig was in like a silly retro basketball jumpsuit, and like it was just fun, and it just serves the purpose of adding fun and whimsy to messages. And they called it out. Like, they gave it time in a very packed, very dense keynote to just like, oh hey, here's something that's just fun we made for you, have fun with it,
Yeah,
laugh, smile. It
I'm
just makes me
hoping
happy.
that once you and I get the betas installed, we can
Oh,
send a
it's going
few
to
back
be
and forth and have some fun with
gratuitous
this.
amounts of stickers.
All right. Challenge accepted. So this will be fun. One thing that they touched on, but I don't know that they talked a lot about, was that a lot of these stickers, like if you have some goofy little stickers that you're adding, you can now emboss them. You can add effects to them to make them look more fun. So that should be good. Did you want to talk a little bit about the PDF section? I guess we that's kind of a ecosystem wide, really, isn't it? That they're adding a lot of features to how we can handle PDFs.
I I mean, it's PDFs. Like, I'm not that excited about it. I mean, is it nice that you can autofill stuff? Of course.
Oh, this is a next level of autofill from what I understand, because it's going to use
Oh, well, in
machine
that
learning
case,
to figure out, what the specific fields are to help you fill everything in. I do like the idea of being able to embed these into notes, and then you can literally use them in notes just like you would just having the PDF in, say, preview or something like that.
yeah. I mean, here's my take on this. This is something that when I have to use it, which is very infrequently, I will be very appreciative of the new features, but it is not something that I'm going to get too excited about or be eager to, But I will say, like I said, when I do eventually have to use this, I'll be like, oh, that was nice. And then I'll move on with my life. That's how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm. They had the one feature that kind of has gone across all the whole ecosystem as well. In the keyboard is how they changed over autocorrect to a transformer model of autocorrect, to the point where
Optimus Prime.
yeah, so it will allow you to it'll basically finish words and sentences for you, and use machine learning to figure out, how you how normally type and words that you normally use, and it'll help suggest different things. I do think it's funny that they have on the page here, type this or tap the space bar to finish words or sentences, and of course there's it shows you the second half of that all gray, as though
Yeah.
it's not there. Oh, there's a footnote there too.
Uh-oh. What does it say?
Available in English.
Well, darn.
Uh,
We're out of luck,
guess
Mitch.
guess we're guess we're not going to get that in other languages for now. So
Parce que je parle français. Oui, oui.
probably the most exciting announcements at WWDC concerning macOS. It was about gaming.
Nerds.
No, I'm being silly.
This guy's just rolling around and like flinging. He's got like fire lightsabers. I don't even know what game this is.
I don't know what game that is either. I was curious about that. I mean, they
Upcoming and recently added games for Mac include Fort Solis, Stray, Death Stranding, Director's Cut, SnowRunner, World of Warcraft, Dragonflight, Humankind. Okay, all the games I don't care about. Awesome.
mm-hmm.
But they really have been making a push for gaming on the Mac in recent years.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, it was a gaming desert, right? If you wanted to be a proper gamer, you either needed a top level console or a gaming PC, right? But I want to say it goes back to when they introduced Metal,
Mm-hmm.
like 5 or 6 years ago, right? Feels like it was that long ago when they started making the push for people taking gaming on the Mac seriously. And I still don't think people do, but what they're offering now compared to what they were offering 5 or 6 years ago, as far as like capability and game availability,
Mm-hmm.
is, I mean, a gargantuan leap from where they used to be. So that's nice. Because I play Hearthstone on my Mac pretty much every day at lunch. I'll be honest.
Yeah. That sounds like fun.
I love it. It's a great game.
I tried getting back into that game because I remember years ago I played it and really enjoyed it, but I tried getting back into that game not that long ago, and I'm just so lost. I need to start over.
Well, they've added a bunch of different game modes to it.
Yeah.
But I usually play Battlegrounds, and it's a lot of fun. I like it.
Yeah, I got whooped up on a couple of times, and I'm like, I don't even remember how to play this. So
good game. Hearthstone, folks. Check it out.
So looking through a few of the other things to mention, there's under the privacy and security stuff, there's communication safety, there's inappropriate or sensitive content warnings, which are cool, I guess. If you get a text message that might have a nudie picture, it lets you say, "Hey, I don't want to see that," or doesn't show it to you automatically. You have to click on it to view it. So,
and women around the world rejoice.
right. Lockdown mode. Did they talk about this at all? It says expanded lockdown mode increases security to help protect against sophisticated cyber attacks. Turn it on across all your Apple devices now, including Apple Watch. So, looks like
I don't think they mentioned that.
Just expanding this lockdown mode.
Who's going to DDoS my Apple Watch, though? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, right. And so much more, it says. There are some interesting things that some folks have talked about a little bit about. One of those is a visual lookup. So I don't know how much they're expanding this, but yesterday, if you go into your pictures, there's a little eye with a couple of like little magic symbols, I guess. I don't know what to call those little stars. Sparkles. I like it. Let me see if I can even find my Photos app. Good gravy. There it is. But the other day, my wife sends me a picture of my cat. And so I went down and tapped on that, and it says "Look up cat." Oh, then maybe it's not going to do it on here. Oh, yeah, it does. So it goes into the Siri knowledge, and it actually suggests that my cat might be one of those breeds. So it says here that he's probably a Bombay cat, and then it gives a little bit of history on what a Bombay is. And then provides me some pictures of other cats that are like my cat. So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. I'm not sure. Like, it doesn't show it on all the images. Trying to find another image that it pops up on.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on any of mine.
Oh, there's another one. Well, of course, it's pictures of my cats. So, look up cats, and basically it suggests the same thing. But at any rate, so that is they're supposed to be expanding that more to be able to identify different things. One of the things that Federico talked about, I think on Connected this last week, was that if you don't know what the symbols on the wash recommendations on the tag of your shirt mean, you can take a picture of that, and iOS will tell you what it means. Or
that's so funny.
Or that's part of the visual lookup feature. So,
that's good.
Yep. And he mentioned that he did that to a shirt that he owns, and it told him that he shouldn't tumble dry it. And he's like, "Oh, I've tumble dried this shirt a bunch of times." But yeah, so that's kind of a neat feature, and it's a good one to expand, I think, because there's so many different things that are around us that we could use that extra information. So
for sure,
I think it'd be good.
So I have a picture I'm going to show you. I took my daughter to the zoo. Oh, and
I will not focus on it
because it's autofocused to my face. Never mind. It doesn't recognize wolves, bisons, okapis, or kangaroos.
Okay.
I just went through we just went to the zoo last weekend, or actually on Monday. And you said it noticed your cat, so I went through all the animal photos that I took, and it didn't have any of those on there. So
we have a little bit
how it is, Apple.
We have a little bit more of information about the CarPlay SharePlay feature.
The one that you were so excited about.
Oh, there's a part of me that really hates this idea, but apparently what you do is you go into the SharePlay feature in CarPlay, and there's a QR code that your passengers can scan, and it will add them to the session, the Apple Music session that you're in. And what it doesn't do is allow them to take over the radio. What it does allow them to do is suggest songs to add to the playlist that you're listening to. So, which I think is a really clever way to do it.
So how do you approve that?
Well, once they're in, once they're into the SharePlay session, then they can just add songs to the playlist. So what my fear was is they were going to hijack the radio.
Yep. Spice Girls for the next hour, Mitch. Here we go.
Yep. I don't need any more bop in my life.
Wow.
That's called reference humor, people.
Spice Girls. Well done, sir.
That is reference humor, folks. Go back a few episodes. But oh shoot, what was I going to say about
now
this?
That song is stuck in my head. I'm so mad.
Sorry, man. Actually, am I sorry? No, not really. Yep.
Anyways,
I don't have it handy, so and I won't inflict that on our listeners. But no, I think this feature could be fun. Something that I'm curious to see if it's possible to do, and Federico says he's going to try, is that he was going to put that QR code on Mastodon and take a drive and see if his followers could recommend songs for him while he was on a drive instead of having them in the car with him. If it was just like you could just post that somewhere and just say, hey, give me something to listen to, and just go.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I want to know if that's feasible.
Yeah. So, and we'll see, but I don't know that everybody can take advantage of it right now that aren't on the betas. So, I think that's going to have to be something that everybody's going to have to be on iOS 17 for. But I am really tempted to try to update my iPad to macOS 17 or iPadOS 17. That would be the one device right now that I'm tempted to try it on. But I'm going to try and patiently wait because I think we probably got about another 2 weeks before they release the betas.
Yeah, I heard they mentioned July as the.
Oh no, they said next month. So
yeah.
But I want to say that they made those available the first half of the month or so, and I don't think they waited until the end of the month. Any other features or anything else you want to talk about in macOS?
No, I mean we kind of went through everything. And obviously a lot of what we talked about is also, there's parity with iOS and iPadOS as well.
Correct.
Like the live stickers and, the messages features and the notes features, which we didn't even really talk about. Like you can now link notes like you can in Obsidian or Notion,
kind of like
whatever.
backlinking.
But it's not as robust, but it's still there. So like a lot of this stuff will appear, on your phone and on your tablet as well. But it's nice to see, again, and we talked about this before, right? There was a time when it felt very much like Apple had abandoned the Mac a couple years ago. And that is obviously no longer the case with the introduction of Apple Silicon, the revving of every single possible app or Mac, the introduction of the Mac Studio, the upgrades to everything, the new 15-inch MacBook Air. Like the Mac is as strong as it's ever been now. And so to see Mac OS Sonoma, just again, it's such a mature platform. It is so well-rounded and so strong and so capable, but to see them continue just to make little quality of life improvements here and there and changing this and upgrading that, like it's just everything here just makes sense. It feels like a natural next step of this is really, really good. It's really, really solid. Our hardware, it now maybe even outpaces the software because of the Apple Silicon and what they're able to do there. But everything that they've added to Sonoma just feels like the next step in making everything more mature, more solid, more robust. And it's just nice to be in this position as a user, right? To be like, wow, I can do whatever I want with my Mac. It empowers me to make music, to edit videos, to edit photos, to play games, to communicate with my friends, to get work. Like anything I want to do computer wise, I can do on my Mac, and I don't have to think about how I'm going to do it. I just do it. And that's just a really, really enjoyable place to be. I don't have any complaints. There's not anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, Apple, do that. I'm just like, wow, what a great machine. And I have the baseline MacBook Air. Like, I don't even have a fancy Mac. I've got the bottom of the line one, the M1 MacBook Air, and this thing crushes anything I throw at it.
Yeah,
I don't have to spend $3,000 on a machine.
And I just have the M2 version of that. So
yeah, it's like
works great.
Crushes. I throw a 4K video, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't even have a fan. Like it's the bottom. I can't even imagine what using a maxed out MacBook or a Mac Pro would be. I would be like, this is from space. This is how I would feel about it.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's literally reading my mind. Like that's how fast it would feel.
Yeah, unless you're doing like really high level 3D animation, really high level video work, anything like that. I don't know who needs, a real high end Mac today.
Yeah. I mean, I want to play with a maxed out Mac Air or a Mac Pro just to see what that's like, knowing that one, I'll never need one, and two, I'll never own one. But going to the Apple Store and seeing what they have out, just because again, like I can't even imagine the response time and the power that that thing has. So that would just be fun. Kind of like I'd go to the Apple Store to try out the Vision Pro for like 10 minutes and be like, all right, I'm never going to own this because it's $3,500. But still doesn't mean I don't want to play with it and flirt a little bit,
Well, there's a chance that if they do the right thing in the next 5 years with that machine, that we'll all have one eventually.
Let's see,
5-10 years. So, because I think this is very much reminding me a bit of the Apple Watch, where it's like this is a lot of the cool stuff that we could do with this. Now, what are people actually going to do with it?
Yeah,
and this could be really interesting. I'm excited about the Vision Pro and Vision OS just because of the potential that is there. So I honestly would love to play with the Vision Pro, but I'm not going to spend $35 for the little bit of utility that it's going to give me, because it's not going to give me the utility that I need right now. So, but anyway. So apparently we're done with Mac OS. So
yes, right. We have turned that corner apparently.
All right. Well, we're going to have plenty of time to discuss iOS and iPad OS once we get the betas in our hands, so that we can give a better idea, or give a better idea of what we're excited about because we're actually using them.
Indeed.
So I know
it's called informed podcasting.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Sure.
We've never been accused of it, so. But anyway, I think it's about time for us to talk about what's delighting us today. What's delighting you today, Cam?
I'm gonna be honest. It's something silly. I really have been into Fortnite lately, and I know I'm a grown man and I shouldn't be, but you know what?
You can be into whatever you want.
I'm single, and I only have my daughter half the time, unfortunately. I wish I had her full time, but like I have lots of spare time on my hands sometimes. And do I read? Sometimes, yes. Do I watch TV? Yeah. But sometimes I want to play Fortnite, and I don't care. It's fun. I like it. And the new ranked mode is exciting. And so yeah, it's silly and it's fun. And I have a couple of buddies that I play with, um, that I met them playing the game, and we've been playing together for 3 years, on and off. And it's just that's I've gotten to know them and their families and their lives, and like I met you, in a wrestling Discord of all
Right.
places.
I think it was a Slack, but
Oh yeah,
won't
Slack. It was a
split
Slack.
hairs here.
Sorry, because it was that long ago, right? It would have been a
Mm-hmm.
Discord if it was a year
Yep.
or two ago.
And that podcast doesn't even really exist anymore.
No, it doesn't, which is a shame.
Yeah, it was a fun
But
podcast.
uh, yeah, that's just like I was thinking to myself, I might play a little bit this afternoon because I've had my daughter 4 weekends in a row, which is wonderful and lovely, and I enjoyed all of it. But this is the first weekend I haven't had her in what feels like forever, and so like I don't have plans, and I'm not going to the park or the zoo or the beach, or like it's just me. So I might just play some video games.
We need that. So
Yeah, and I'm taking all week of work off. So I am technically on vacation. So why not?
Why not?
Have a little fun. Wipe out some bot lobbies, because here's the other thing. I'm not very good at it, and I don't care. It's still fun.
Yeah. I'm not super good at it either, but to me it's about strategy. To other people it's about just craziness. I don't know. I'm building and shooting, and I don't know. I haven't played in quite a while. But I really enjoyed Fortnite for a long time.
It's a good time. It's fun.
Yep.
I was playing last night, just real quick, and I was doing squad fills, right? So like you just get your squad filled with just random people, and had a couple of good matches, one around, got the victory royale, all that sort of stuff. And then right after I got the victory, I was like, I'll do one more game, and I got no teammates. So I was solo squatting by myself. And I finished second, which I was very proud of. But at the end, it was 4v1, and they actually had hired some of the NPCs, so it was like 6-on-1, and this final circle was like the size of like a quarter, and they found me, and I just like, all right, I'm just gonna dance. I just danced, and they surrounded me and watched me dance for like 5 seconds, and then just one pumped me. And it was like everyone knew, okay, like they knew it was them versus a solo, like it was all good. And just the fact that I was able to like do the stupid dance emote, and they just like enjoy, like everyone just understood the scenario, like, okay, yep, I have no chance here, but we're just gonna be silly. It was just like that to me was like, it's just fun. You know what I mean? Like some people are really serious, obviously the pros, and like I like watching the pros play because holy cow, it's incredible. The speed and the accurate, like what they're able to do is just beyond anything I could accomplish. So like you have that side of the game, but then there's just moments like that where it's just like, okay, we're just here to have fun. You guys know you're gonna win. I know I'm gonna lose. Let's just enjoy the silliness of the situation. Have a brief moment. You can kill me. Great. You get the victory crown. I'm going to stop playing because, whatever. But it's just fun. It's a lighthearted game. And anyways, that's that. That's what's delighting me.
All right.
What about you, sir?
I'm going like just in the complete opposite direction.
Oh, good. Oh, good. The Book of Lamentations is really delighting you, Mitch.
Well, not quite that opposite.
Okay. All right.
So Spark Email did a redesign months ago and was adding
Mike Hurley
a whole bunch of garbage features into it, and I was just hating it. And so I went back to Apple Mail for a while and just, refigured my system and started using that. And then recently thought, I'm going to give Spark a try again because my email's gotten really boring and dumb. And so let me try Spark again. And you know what? It's actually not bad. Like I forced myself to to use the features that they want me to use. And I actually deactivated. I had SaneBox on, so much of the stuff was
You're like
just
a
being
real
filtered out before.
like a real adult email user using
Yeah.
SaneBox.
So I deactivated SaneBox and turned off the auto renew just because I'm just wanted to try these new features in Spark that kind of replace a lot of that functionality. And I'm actually rather pleased with it now. I wish that you can block email. You can block email senders, and when you get an email from somebody new, it gives you the ability to accept it or block it, which you can make that choice there. What I don't like on the iOS and iPadOS versions of Spark is that if you have a bunch of existing emails that of people that have emailed you, they can still email you without having the option to accept it or block it. But in the Mac version of it, you can go into the email, the list of emails that you have, and actually set them to be blocked. So what I have a tendency to do is throughout the day, I'm looking at my email, I'm going through stuff. I let them accumulate. I let all these emails accumulate, and then when I get a chance to get onto my Mac and go into Spark Email, then I can go through and actually block all those senders so that I'm not getting a lot of that email. And it's been working out okay. It's not ideal. I would rather be able to do it right on my iPhone, but I think the system works pretty well, and I'm not unhappy with it. There's a couple of different things that I'm doing a little differently now that I wasn't doing before. Back with Spark, when I was using it before, I would pin emails. So these would be the emails that I want to keep in my inbox because I need to do something with them, or I would keep like I ordered this item and I'm expecting it soon, so I'm going to keep the email here just so that I have a place to stash it. And so I would just pin them all, and then they would be saved in my pins in Spark Email. Well, Spark has the pinning yet, but it doesn't really separate it out. But what they do separate out is priority email. So if you select them as prioritize this email, it puts them into a separate category on the page in Spark Email. So it saves them all there. And what's even cooler is if you have emails that you don't want to have in your inbox all the time, you can put them away as well. So what that does is it actually there'll be a little like pill at the bottom of the page. That's all your apps or all the emails that you put away, kind of set, or they call it set aside. That's what they call it. So you set aside these emails into this little pill at the bottom of the screen, and so you just tap on that, and it opens up, and those are all the emails that you've set aside for later. So I think that's cool. I did find out that if you take a lot of the emails that you want to block and put them in set aside, it does not give you the option to block those. So you can't use set aside for emails that you want to block. But
very good.
But yeah, I think they're onto something here, but I think that they're in the midst of building a lot of this stuff. And so it's just being patient and allowing them to build out all these features. I'm sure the iOS and iPadOS are going to eventually have the ability to block emails that are already in my inbox at some point. It's just they haven't implemented that feature yet. So because for some reason there isn't feature parity between the Mac and the iOS and iPadOS versions. So, but yeah, what's delighting me today is Spark Email.
Very good.
So there it is. Do you have anything you want to add today? I know we're both excited to get to watch the finale of Silo. because
Yeah.
it dropped
Okay.
yesterday and both of us forgot to watch it.
Okay. So do we want to talk about this for a minute, or do you want to end the show? What are you feeling? I know you've got a pounding headache.
It's getting a little bit better. We can talk about Silo.
Okay.
We're at about 56 minutes right now, so and I'll edit
then
that
we'll make it
more.
a short conversation.
Sure.
And so, listeners, if you haven't watched Silo, this is farewell. Have a nice day.
Yep.
Thank you for listening. It's
check us
lovely.
out at innerdialogue.show.
Indeed, and now we're going to spoil the show.
So hey, wait!
You have been.
Let's tag out the show and we'll do an after show. So if you'd like to find out more about us, innerdialogue.show is where you can find our podcast. And there's also a feedback button there. You can fill out the feedback form if you have any questions or comments with us. I'll get it right in Spark email, as I mentioned before, and we will talk about it on the show. Also, if you'd like to know more about me, you can check out my website at mitchcraig.online. And Cam, where can people find you?
CamBrennan.com.
Indeed. So that's the show. If you'd like to stick around for spoilerly. Well, I tried to make up a word there. It didn't work. We're going to spoil Silo for you guys. So if you haven't seen Silo yet, go watch it and then come back.
So good.
It is so good. It is really good. But we're going to talk a little bit about that and wrap up the show with that. So this is where the after show starts. All right, welcome to the after show.
Good one.
So like Silo.
Yes.
Do you want to kind of give a synopsis of what this show's about?
Sure. So it's on Apple TV Plus, and it is based on a series of books. And the concept is there's this massive, like 144 level silo underground that these people have lived in. And their history only goes back 140 years. There was this revolt sort of deal that got put down, but in that revolt, theoretically, they tell us that all of their history got destroyed. All of the hard drives or like anything that had references to anything previous to this revolution got quote unquote destroyed, which I call garbage on, first of all. But the idea is, so there's this couple thousand people living in this massive silo underground. They cannot go outside. They don't know why outside is toxic, just that it is. And they have one camera that shows them what outside, again, with heavy quotes, looks like. And so what the show quickly becomes is a story about control and what truth actually is and discovering truth, because there's certain, like they call these items relics, things that exist from the before time that that are illegal to have. And it's very how would you describe it? Like the government is very like dictatorial. Like it is, the government runs the show and there are no aberrations. And if you are one of the weird people, like there's theories that like they don't let you have kids because like population is controlled because the silo is only so big and they can only have so many people living in it to sustain all this sort of stuff.
But they don't refuse to allow them to have kids. They said that they'll actually give them, so all the women have a birth control.
Birth control. Yeah.
So the government decides whether or not you can have kids or not. But even amongst those people, they don't necessarily let you have kids, if you're the type of person they don't want to reproduce. So that decision is made for you, whether you know it or not.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the length at which the government controls the people in the silo becomes more and more obvious as the show progresses. We discover that they are watching everyone in their apartments, which is super creepy. And so the show quickly becomes about this struggle for what is really going on, what is really happening, what is really outside, why are we actually here? And it's the fight of those people against the overbearing judicial team. And it's just really good. Like I have so many. I shouldn't say so many. I have a couple of theories about what the second season is going to be like, but I could be totally wrong. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on the show.
I have found it really intriguing. It is such an interesting a study into what happens when you take um, knowledge away from a society. Because I thought one of the more interesting things was the guy, I don't recall his name, but the guy that would sit in the cafeteria every night and look at the stars, but he didn't know what they were. Yeah, he had no idea what they
They just
were.
call them lights in the sky. He
Yeah,
doesn't know, like, they're fundamental. He just doesn't know that what stars are.
yeah, and so every night he's in the cafeteria looking at this basically this screen uh, to look outside, and he's tracking the stars, and he starts coming up with a theory that the stars are moving, like
Mm-hmm.
we're on some kind of. He basically comes up with the idea of that we're in some kind of rotating thing, and that the stars in the sky, either the stars are moving or the lights in the sky are moving or we're moving,
Yeah.
and he can't he's trying to figure that out, and
He's
it's
the
fascinating.
silo's resident Galileo, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's, I mean, that right there
Mm-hmm.
shows, like, the lack of their, like, just imagine not knowing what stars, like, it's just such basic knowledge, right?
Right.
For us. And these people are living their lives trapped inside this thing, and they don't even know what a star is.
Or the main character, and names are escaping me right now. The woman sheriff,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Juliet.
Juliet. Thank you. Um, her fear of water,
Mm-hmm.
like that
Because you don't
when
swim in the silo.
yeah, because water's not a thing. Like people die when they go in the water. That's just that's the calculation. If you're in water, you die. And so when she gets down into the depths, the lowest place
Oh,
in the
dude, when they had that
silo.
reveal when George took her down there the first time, or she took the sheriff, I guess, is the first time we see it, and she turns the lights on, and there's that huge digger thing. It's like, dude, how cool! Like, it's just such a. I wasn't expecting it at all, and it's just this massive reveal of this giant underground below the silo, because obviously they had to dig it with something, but it's just this monstrous machine, this huge set. Man, the show is so well um shot, and the set design is like crazy good. Like, they actually built like the spiral stairs. Like, it is very well done.
And the way they ended episode 8, was it, where she jumps off the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, huh, what just happened? Like, are we going to come back and find out that she's dead? Of course, it's sci-fi, so we didn't have a body.
Yeah.
But
Well, and she's the main character, and she's not
yeah,
gone out like that.
yeah,
But it was still just like, oh, she jumped. Oh no.
yeah,
Because the episode before that, I think it was, she almost got thrown over by one of the judicial guys trying to kill her. So for the fact that that had just happened, and then she was like, all right, well, my only way out of here is to jump.
mm-hmm.
And again, so the silo, the inside of the silo is just this giant uh spiral staircase with walkways that go to the edge where all the homes and shops and everything are. So it's this central pillar in the middle with, you go over the railing, you're dead.
Pretty much, yeah.
So but it's a really interesting look at people struggling for truth and understanding and purpose. And it's like a science experiment, right? What do people do when they only know a sliver of truth, and they are stuck in a place that they don't know why they're there, they don't know why outside is bad? And here's the thing, and they haven't mentioned it once yet, but in the episode where they shut the power down to the silo so that Julia can fix the reactor and the thing that keeps the power running, the camera goes off. And when the camera comes back on, that you see in the cafeteria, you see what's really outside for about a second, and then the photoshopping effect comes back, and it
Yep.
looks like a wasteland.
And a
And
few people noticed that.
Mm-hmm. And the guy who was tracing the stars, again, I can't remember his name. He was sitting there when it happened. There was a whole bunch of people sitting there and they showed the real outside, and then the filter came back on, but they haven't mentioned it a single time, and it's been like, I think it was like episode 3 that happened. And you're like, oh. And then of course you see the sheriff. So in episode 2, I think, so it's Rashida Jones is the sheriff's wife. She goes outside, and so there's this whole idea that like if you say you go outside, you say you want to go outside, like that's you're done, you're out.
You're going outside.
They put you in this they put you in this space suit, and they send you outside to clean the sensor, and you die because it's toxic outside. Psst, the toxins are in the space suit.
So
because outside is perfectly fine.
That's the funny thing about this, is that if you start to logic this out, they're sending you outside to clean the camera. And the idea that they present early on is the reason you're cleaning the camera is because you want everybody to see it's actually nice out there. Otherwise, why would you? And it's such an interesting thing that these people that are in the silo, that are, say, outside of the people who actually know what's going on, so like the high level judicial people that actually know what's going on, and we don't really know how much they know either. So
yeah, that's true.
It's we know that they know so much. They know that they know to surveil everybody. And who really is in control? Because I'm still not sure we know that. So it's, and what is the purpose of this silo? If everything's okay outside, why are they here? Like, is this a social experiment? Or what's going on here? But anyway, so what are your theories about the finale? What do you think we're going to see before the end of this season?
So I think they're going to put Juliet outside. I think they're going to force her to do it. And here's my hope. I don't think Rashida Jones or the sheriff are actually dead. I think there is a group of people outside of the silo that are alive. And I have this thought in my head of like, because you don't cast Rashida Jones for an episode and a half and not bring her back, right?
Right.
Because like there are only a few other, like well-known actors in the show, and the rest are all people that aren't super well known. So why would you cast someone like her, who is very well known, for an episode and a half of, before? So anyways, my hope is that they're going to send Juliet out, and like we'll see either Rashida Jones or the sheriff, like their like some sort of like, as Juliet's like taking the thing off, like we'll see like a hand or something, and the show ends with like them grabbing her or something like that to send into the next season of like, oh crap, there's and then you get the outside the silo versus in the silo sort of perspective. I haven't read the books. I could be so wrong. I just think it would be really interesting for the second season to have a totally different perspective of them learning what life is like outside the silo. How do they get the people in the silo to realize what's going on, because they can't get back in, yada yada. I don't know. Again, this is all total speculation.
Do we find some of this stuff out before she gets out, though? That's what I'm wondering, because I'm wondering if she comes to the realization somehow that it's the suits that are killing them.
Yeah.
And so she gets out, maybe they toss her out without the suit. I don't know. I'm curious to see what else is going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, it could go a number of ways.
There's one little bit of see, I'm a loose ends guy. I notice little things, and I'm looking for how they're going to pay it off. There's a door at the bottom.
Yes.
And
George finally told her about in the video that he made last episode.
George mentioned it, and we know it's there. How are they going to pay that off?
Well, and there's a scene from, like, if you look at the trailer for the season, there's one picture or one scene where Juliet comes flying up out of the water, and I thought it was from the episode when she was down in the fixing the reactor and it was filling with water, but she never does that. She always keeps her head kind of above the water and gets pulled out at the last second. So my thought is because she's still in hiding, right? At the end of the last episode, they still don't know where she is, correct?
I believe so. Well,
Yeah, because she was in the main guy from Judicial's office, Sims, or in his apartment, and then the wife let her go. I bet she goes to try and find the door in the last episode.
that's what I'm thinking. She's
But
trying.
it's at the bottom. Where could it possibly lead to?
Right. Maybe there's
So
another.
maybe that's the
there's
big
another
reveal.
silo.
Well, oh my gosh. Oh man. Like the back half of the plane in Lost, right? Like new people. Maybe that's the big reveal, and I'm totally wrong. Is that she finds the door and she finds what's behind it, and that's the big reveal that leads us. That's the cliffhanger into season 2, and then we have to wait even longer for the outside people because I cannot believe that the sheriff and his wife are dead. Because he winds up taking his mask off.
Yeah, the trouble is that that you see them both collapse. The suits are still there. There's no point at which anybody sees them take off the suits and get up and leave. So we have there's questions that we have to answer for that to be. And I'm not saying they can't be, but
there's two things, right? So he does take his mask off. He still passes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you see the real outside, there are no bodies there. Like if you go back and watch that episode and you see the actual pure image, there are no bodies. They're not there. Those are artificially put in by whatever they're doing to convince people
I gotta
that
go back
outside
and watch
is bad.
that episode.
Yeah, it is pristine. It is pristine nature, and there are no bodies on the ground for the second or so that you see the actual real image. So that leads me to believe either one, they're not dead, or two, if they are, there are people out there that have removed the bodies.
Yeah.
Which means there's people outside the silo monitoring what's going on in the silo. So like either way, we're going to come to I think, again, this is conjecture. Either way on that, those options, there are people outside the silo that know about the silo. And eventually that's going to come. That part will get added to the show. And I think that's going to be pretty cool. So anyways.
All right.
I'm excited. I'm going to watch it right now, actually. That's what I want to do.
What makes me... It does kind of make me want to find those books and read them. I don't know if I want to spoil the show, but...
Well, and I have no idea how close to the books the show is because it's based on and so who knows what they like same with Foundation. Like we both, if I remember correctly, we both really enjoyed that show.
Yeah, but
they have like the whole Cleonic dynasty, that whole main pillar of that show. You told me wasn't even in the books. And it's a huge part of the show.
So what the difference between something like Silo and Foundation is Foundation builds a world that has stories in it. And I think that's the point of the Foundation TV show. It's taking that world and building a story in it, and I don't think that there's some similarities between the stories in Foundation and what we saw in the first season. But they're expanding upon the original story. I'm guessing Silo is going to follow closer to what the books actually do.
Yeah, entirely possible. I have no idea. But yeah, I have been tempted to because I was like, oh man, especially if there's like a really good cliffhanger at the end of season 1, I might need to read the books in the interim between when season 2 starts. Because that's what I did with Game of Thrones. Is I was like, a certain thing happened at the end of a season, and it was a huge shift in the show, and I got super angry. Like I was like, I'm done with this. I'm not watching this show anymore. This is stupid. I'm so mad. And then I did a little bit of research and found out I didn't need to be mad. And then I read through like all the books in like 6 months, which is a lot because they're all like 2 inches thick. So that may happen with the Silo, depending on how the season ends.
So it looks like the book series is called Wool.
Wool?
WOOL. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was just looking that up. The first book came, or it's the first story is a short story, and I'm looking to see if it's Wool is the first act of the series and consists of books 1 through 5.
Oh my gosh.
Um, Holston, Proper Gauge, Casting Off, The Unraveling, and The Stranded.
Oh, see, I told you, Mitch, the Stranded. Those are the people on the outside. Come on. They have to be. So Holston
So
is
I'm not going any
is the
further than
name of the
that. But
sheriff. So
yeah,
so that's probably his story then, would be about his wife. I wonder if that book was the first 2 episodes.
it's possible because they mention that this all started with a short story. So yeah, with the short story Wool. The series started in 2011 with a short story, Wool, which was later
Oh.
published together with 4 sequel novellas as a novel of the same name. Along with Wool, the series consists of Shift, Dust, 3 short stories, and Wool the graphic novel.
Okay, I found this on the web for Call series consists of Shift, Dust, 3 short stories, and Wall the graphic novel. Check it out.
But you said the short story came out in 2011.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So these are all really new. Okay, interesting. I'll have to look into that. All right, I want to go watch a show now.
All right, man. I don't know that my wife and I will watch it until later tonight, so just so you
I
don't
won't say
spoil
anything.
anything
Don't
for
worry.
me. All right, I'll let you know when I'm done with it.
Sounds good.
All right, cool, man.
Good episode, man. This was fun.
Yeah.
A little after show excitement.
Started a little bit difficult, but we got through it. So
We did.
There's just so little to talk about when it comes to Mac OS, and my headache is going away, so that's good.
Even better.
Yep. All right, man. Well, we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.